Hello, my name is Elder Young. Hello, did you know that Jesus lived here in the USA?
We grew up in Colorado, so we've been talking about Mormons for like years because we grew up near Mormons and knew Mormons. When we first came up with this idea of the Mormon missionaries and they go to the worst place on earth, you know, that stand for whatever that place is, that cursed place you read about in the news where these people just can't get a break between famine and war and poverty. Here's these two little white kids who grew up in a really nice suburban neighborhood. And here, you know, drop them in here, what happens?
We've had no rain in several days. Hasadiga Ibowai. And 80% of us have AIDS. Hasadiga Ibowai.
In this scene, the missionaries, elders Price and Cunningham, discover that the African song has a blasphemous English translation.
F you to Heavenly Father. Holy moly, I said it like 13 times.
What made you decide we're going to do this as a musical, we're going to do a Broadway show?
We just decided, let's do a musical. We didn't even really know at first we were going to do it as a Broadway thing. We thought, just like anything, you know, we never start anything and do it and go, let's do this, and then we'll do that, and then we'll do this, and we'll do that. We never, it's like, oh, let's do this is funny, okay, wonder what this will be. You know, and you just start going. And we would just try to get a song done. Let's just try to do a funny song, let's try to get a funny album. And then with the album, we could start to think what the show would be. And I think that was really smart because we started off with a collection of songs that told a story. You know, the show revolves around the songs, and that's what makes a good musical.
This was the time for me to step up. So then why was I so scared? A warlord who shoots people in the face. What's so scary about that?
You feel that Mormons enjoy singing and should sing.
I mean, I don't know why they didn't think of it first. The thing, I mean, Mormons just plug right into a musical so perfectly. I don't know why
they always look like they're just about to break out into some cheesy song. Yeah. So all we did was write those cheesy songs for them.
I believe that the Lord God created the universe. I believe that he sent his only son to die for my sins. And I believe that ancient Jews built boats and sailed to America. And that's exactly how it happened.
You see? You believe it now?
Well, yeah, sure. Why would he make that up?
Joseph Smith was in a time when there were all these kind of different religions. Everyone was here in the New World, and they were kind of still reading about everything that had happened in the Old World. And he wanted to say, well, we're in this whole new continent, this whole new place. Let's bring it here.
Jesus lived here in America?
Actually, before the Book of Mormon, we'd say, well, here's what Mormons believe. And they're like, no. And we're like, yeah, this is their story. This is America. It's right next door, you know, these are your neighbors.
I believe.
There is something about the Mormons which is what one imagines about the sort of the benign side of America. It's benign, but also naive, because we all do think that a lot of Americans
super naive, super cheesy, and totally, with a total heart full of gold, wants to knock on your door in another country and tell you about how to live your life.
Were you surprised when when the Mormons advertised the Book of Mormon?
No, we weren't surprised at all.
You weren't surprised at all?
And that's what, you know, when people were saying at the beginning, like, oh, you better, there's gonna be a big backlash from this. We're like, no, like, we know Mormons. We grew up with Mormons. And their MO is to beat you by being kinder than you and higher than you and being like, okay, I don't agree with what you're doing, but I agree with your ability to do it.
The church's position on our Book of Mormon is exactly the way I would want a church to react to a major piece of pop culture criticism. They just go, you know what, we got a First Amendment, and they're just free to do that.
It's awesome to me, though, that you do South Park in 6 days. It kind of amazes me.
It honestly is just a thing where there is no time for writer's block. And so you have to, you know, the only time you get hung up in doing something is you kind of lose faith in it. And especially in comedy, you can sit there in the room and really laugh about something, and the next day it's like, oh yeah, that's kind of funny, but is it really that funny? And you can start, and then all of a sudden, it's not funny at all.
It's a little bit like a live show. There's no time for second guessing, and it generally isn't overcooked. Sometimes it's not even really cooked. It's a little bit raw, a little bit undercooked, but it's not overcooked.
Looking for a Hummer today?
Matt and Trey first met as students in their home state of Colorado.
Did you always make each other laugh, or is this just purely business?
Oh yeah, no, there was no business. We weren't making money at it.
We weren't making money for the longest time. We met at film school, and we were just the only two guys that were into comedy. I mean, honestly, just bluntly, like no one else was even thinking that. They were all thinking about being Roman Polanski or like Martin Scorsese, and we bonded over Python skits.
I remember watching Python, being like 7, 8 years old, and seeing Python and thinking they were talking like that to be funny, like that accent was actually just a funny talk.
We like dressing up, yes.
And the aesthetic was just so cheap and shitty that you thought, we could go shoot something like that. And, you know, we could, and you can. And
Hold on.
Yeah. No, but the look of it, you could just tell these were some guys running outside and shooting something. And it was like, oh, we can do that. You know, we could do that.
Their first major production was in fact a film musical called Cannibal. Both men had starring roles, with Trey also writing and directing.
Cannibal was the first thing we said, let's do something that length that has, you know, full-on beginning, middle, end.
It's funny because we did that when we were 19, 20, 21 years old.
Yeah, that's good, though, actually. Put it at 20.
Looking back, it's just like ridiculous.
Well, I
that
think
we
there was
did
a
that.
thing, too. I think in the back of our minds, we're like, well, it's not like we're actually going to do it. You know what I mean? I think it was just always this thing of like, oh, that'd be cool. We could do that, you know. And then all of a sudden, we were kind of doing it.
We were kind of just like halfway through it. Yeah,
this is
right.
happening.
I guess we're doing it.
You know, when we came out, we were like, holy shit, lock up your kids. This show is on, and it's the end of all time. You know, and it was basically people coming out saying, this is the end of, you know, democracy as we know it. This is like going to end everything. And we were just labeled that show.
And we just saw it as fresh, non-trampled snow of like, well, here's a bunch of jokes over here that other people should be making. Oh, we'll do it.
Do you want to make people laugh? Do you want to make people think? Do you want to make people angry?
We never
Not angry.
Yeah, we've never once gone into that writer's room and sat down and said, okay, what can piss people off this week? You know, but of course, part of being funny and is to take any kind of issue and then just take the other side of it. We like it the best when we kind of make a show and then it comes to be almost time for it to air and we're like, oh, you know, we're kind of saying this.
Why do you need me? Because we needed you to do the bookkeeping.
I mean, the thing about Kyle is a Jewish kid, but I grew up in Colorado, and my mom is Jewish, so I'm Jewish. But I'm just a white kid. And that's kind of Kyle. That's what's so funny about Cartman's stuff. He's always like, Jew. Kyle's just like Stan. They're just the same kid. You know what I mean? It's like, that's the joke, is there's nothing there. If anybody is considered, oh, you can't touch that over there, that's immediately makes everything that you've done offensive. That immediately stains everything you've done. It only makes sense to us if everyone's deepest beliefs are kind of on the chopping block.
The frozen alien bodies were loaded onto Xenu's galactic cruisers, which looked like DC-8s, except with rocket engines.
I mean, did you struggle because there were libel issues?
That
really,
became the fun part of it, too, was, you know, sitting there in the room and being like, okay, the lawyer said we can't do this. And it's like, okay, can we do this? And they're like, maybe. You know, and it's like that just kind of became another part of it.
Yeah.
The world needs is an international advisory committee who truly understands global politics, namely us.
Why do you do that? Why celebrities? Why are you rude?
Because we are puppets, so we can make celebrities for free.
It's the fun. Yeah, it's like they could star in we don't have to pay them their rate. We could just like, you know, just make there's nothing more fun than making a puppet of somebody important or a cartoon of somebody important and setting them on fire, throwing them against a wall, you know, farting on them, dumping shit on them. There's some highbrow explanation of why that's really important in culture, but we just like doing that. I mean, I think it's important that people who are held up as idols get shit on.
When I was about 12, I discovered the piano, and I was all about music. All through junior high and high school, I was all about songwriting, was writing funny songs, and I like the joke writing in songs. Yeah, it was funny when we did the South Park movie, you know, because right away, as soon as I knew we were going to do a movie, I'm like, okay, I want to make it a musical. And some of the reaction we got when the movie came out was going, hey, I really loved the movie, you know, I saw you had to fill a lot of it in with music. Music's the hardest part, like people don't understand.
I mean, the fact that you're dealing with music and it's in a song,
Yeah.
does that give you more license?
Maybe you do get away with more because, you know, you can say something in the middle of a jolly, happy song that's like, ooh, you know, where it's like, and it's like the same reason we can get away with so much what we do with South Park is because we hope and we think it's not a cynical show. It comes off at the end of being a somewhat happy, optimistic show, and and so does Book of Mormon. And if it was just, you go in there and there's just negativity and cynicism, and no one wants to watch that, especially no one wants to go pay $100 and watch that.
Yeah.
A few months have passed since I visited Matt and Trey in LA, and they're now here in London, rehearsing the West End version of the Book of Mormon.
Tomorrow is a latter day, and I am here for you. Tomorrow is a latter day. Tomorrow is a latter day. Tomorrow is a latter day.
So the show, how's it going here?
We just saw a run through upstairs, and they look great. I mean, they still have a few weeks of work left to do, but right now it's in great shape. It really is.
The skies are clearing and the sun's coming up. It's a latter day tomorrow.
A big show like this, there's so much that's just, okay, did the light come up when it was supposed to come up? And was this person in this spot? And, you know, there's so much of that. And then we know the spaces where we can come in and say, work on things that's just the script and the humor and all of that.
Recently, Matt and Trey have also revealed the formation of their very own film studio.
You've got a very modest title. You called it Important Studios.
Yeah. We tried to make it very important, and extremely important, and they're just like, the lawyers were just like, can we just keep it important for now? Because it's just like...
It's sounding a bit arrogant.
We also talked about calling it...
Surely not.
United States Entertainment.
So we couldn't do that either.
Because I just wanted to say, I'm Trey Parker, I'm Vice President of United States Entertainment.
And then somebody had that.
Someone had it.
Somebody had that. That was crazy.
This show, then, obviously word of mouth has got around, and it's kind of nearly sold out. I think it's done brilliantly well.
Yeah, it's selling well.
Are you nervous?
It'll be totally nerve-wracking when we're in the theater and you're in the space, you're physically there.
I know, but if it starts
totally
and the audience is full and nobody laughs, that'll make us laugh super hard.
Yeah,
so
and then we'll be bummed the next day, but we'll be laughing when they're not laughing. Nothing's funnier to us than an obvious joke and then no one laughs at it.
Yeah.
Like, that's really funny.
Okay, I'll be there.
Great.
And I will try to laugh, definitely.
Please.
Yeah, if no one else
laugh.
even if you're just laughing,
That would be funny too.
It's a latter day tomorrow.